thank you so much for joining our inaugural Rise Bootcamp Kickoff. We are so excited to have each and every one of you here, and we're really glad that all of you get to embark on this journey with us together. So a couple things that we want to go through initially is introductions. These are going to be your compatriots. These are going to be your friends, your confidants, your advisors, your mentors, your peers over the next few weeks. So we want to make sure that you know each other and that you understand a little bit about each other. Now, in this introduction, it's going to be really brief, and we know that we are not going to be able to touch on the beautiful, incredibly detailed, complex lives that all of us lead. So we're going to ask you to provide your name, your position if you have one, so if you're working, what that position is. And the last thing that we would ask is that you just provide what you're looking for in the Rise Bootcamp. So a one-sentence answer to who you are, what you do, and what you're looking for in the Rise Bootcamp. Know that in the introductions, we will have an opportunity to really talk in much more depth about the complexity that each of us is balancing in our lives, and really who we are and what we do, what we're passionate about. We'll be able to reveal all of that in coming weeks. But in the initial introduction, if we could limit it to your name, what you do if you're working, and third, what it is that you're looking for from the Rise Bootcamp. So with that, I'm also going to share with everyone the incredible array of personalities that we have in this Rise Bootcamp from your predictive index. So the really neat thing is that all of you have taken the predictive index, or most of you have. I think there's one or two of you that still have yet to do it, but most of you have taken the predictive index. And so with that, you know that that has incredible depth and that has incredible impact into who you are. And so we'll talk a little bit about who you are as the predictive index sort of indicates as well, if that makes sense. So first, let me start with Emily Sankey. If you could introduce yourself, and then I'll tell everyone what your predictive index personality profile is.
Sure. Hi, y'all. I'm Emily Sankey, and on May 1st, I will be a people and culture business partner. And one thing I'm looking for, there are a lot of things that I'm looking forward to being a part of this. It's always nice to be the first group, so I think that's one thing. And also just some of the topics around financial health and executive gravitas or presence are some things that I know that I would like to work on, and I look forward to learning more about that and getting to know all of you.
I love that. That's great. And Emily's personality profile in the predictive index is a maverick. So guys, note that a maverick is an innovative, outside the box thinker who is undaunted by failure. So if you need that little jolt of fearlessness, Emily's your gal. All right, Monique, let's move to you. There you go.
So I'm Monique, and from Harrisonburg, Virginia. And what I'm really looking for in this Rise Bootcamp is that to get to know everyone, first of all, and build new connections. And yeah, just create that group of people that I can be in contact, just build that deeper connection. That's what I'm looking for.
I love that. That's great. And Monique is an operator in her predictive index. And what that means is an operator is a patient, conscientious, relaxed, and cooperative team worker. So anytime you feel incredibly amped up and you need to take a deep breath, Monique is your woman. She is the one who, with 5 minutes of time with Monique, everyone's able to calm down and resume a more relaxed continence. So thank you for that, Monique. All right, let's move to Kendall.
My name is Kendall Bergman, and right now I am launching a new business, The Discovery Well. So I'm the founder of a coaching and consulting business, and I like to consider myself a partner in possibilities. I I like this idea of co-creating with this group. What for each one of us, what leadership looks like. Because I don't think leadership is cookie cutter. I don't think one size fits all the way we lead. And the connection and that we are the first ones doing this. So it's like an experiment. We get to play and have fun with this.
I love that, Kendall. Thank you so much. And for the rest of you to get to know Kendall a little bit, Kendall is an individualist. And as an individualist, Kendall is someone who is highly independent, but really tenacious. She's a persistent personality and she remains result oriented. So if you need help with those SMART goals and you need help with that sense of purpose, Kendall is your lady. She is the one who can get you on track and keep you focused. So thank you, Kendall, and thank you for being an individualist. We love that. All right, Kate, how about you?
Hi, everybody. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I'm a freelance writer and marketing strategist. I'm also supporting right now Linda as she looks to build out LeadHERship Global. Also, what I'm trying to get out of this is really positive energy, kind of a break away from everything going on in the world and a chance to kind of look inward. Also want to work on personal branding and then giving back and sharing stories kind of based on my background and experience. So as much as I want to look in, I want to be able to give back to you ladies.
I love that. Okay, great. Thank you, Kate. So today we've gone through introductions. We reviewed our predictive index profile. Kate has yet to take that, so I can't yet reveal what Kate's personality is, but we will soon. And today we're in for what I consider to be an extra special treat because Patricia Arboleda, I don't say that nearly as beautifully as she does, but Patricia Arboleda is a leadership coach. And today she's going to be talking to us around how to lead authentically, how to drive change. She'll be talking a little bit about gender bias and stereotypes and how that affects women in the workplace, and then giving all of us the tools to forge positive change and empower women to respond to challenges that may be hindering your career advancement. So that's going to be an exciting portion of today's conversation. And then we're going to go through the take-home assignments. All of you are going to be invited to take a leadership style diagnostic, as well as an impact leadership worksheet, which I've already shared with you, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then again, because our next meeting isn't for the 2 weeks, so it's the week after next, we'll have a chance for all of you to connect together in a confidential connection. That means that you'll be paired up, one together with another, to talk about what you've learned today about how to lead authentically and drive change. So look for those confidential connection assignments after today's meeting and the link to the leadership style diagnostic. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Patricia.
Thank you, Linda. And I'm very happy to be here with all of you. So glad to meet Emily and Kendall because I think this is the first time we meet. And so let me share with you a little bit about myself. So as Linda mentioned, I am an executive leadership and career coach. I used to be in corporate. I was in corporate more than 25 years leading multicultural teams, both in different regions. I actually had a global responsibility, and that's why the multicultural comes into play. As I was sharing with Monique yesterday, I was born in Colombia, but I'm also French. So I'm half French, and I'm bilingual and with English as well, trilingual. And basically my objective here is to help women advance in their careers. I went through all the struggles of moving up the executive ladder myself. And so there was a point in my life, in my career, that I decided that I didn't want to continue in corporate, but I wanted to focus my career on helping women advance and move up in the executive ladder, learning the habits that will help them get there. So that's basically what I do. I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, workshops, and also keynotes. So you'll learn a little bit more about myself during the presentation. So today, as Linda mentioned, we're going to talk about bias in the workplace. We're going to touch on gender stereotypes and leadership styles. So just to start, I think that all of us are in some way trapped into bias. So we have all experienced bias stereotypes and relating with people that have specific beliefs about how things should be, and also the beliefs that we have about ourselves. So all of that is encompassed into our own mindset and beliefs about how we should behave, or how is it expected from us to behave. So the first thing that we need to do is to become aware of bias, and become aware not only to be able to identify it and become aware and know that it is there, but also to be able to take action. So that's one of the things that we're going to do today. So the first thing is to understand that there are different types of biases. We're going to touch on a few today. But the most important biases that are out there that we are normally faced with are the likability bias, the performance bias, maternal bias, attribution bias, affinity bias, and double discrimination bias. And we're going to, as I mentioned, we're going to touch on some of those today. So if we start with a likability bias, so what the bias is all about is the fact that what it is expected is that men are assertive, and that feels natural when we hear men being assertive, and that women are communal, meaning that we take care, right? And when we assert ourselves, then there is a less likability about ourselves. So people don't like us as much when we are too assertive, or when they perceive us to be assertive. That's kind of the bias, right? So if we probably we have seen in different situations where we hear someone say that this or that person is very aggressive or pushy when they're negotiating a salary or expressing their opinions or things like that. And that's basically because of the likability bias. The expectation is that women are nice and communal, as I was saying, and when we are assertive, people tend to make comments like that. So what do we do if we hear that? So basically, we need to prompt a reflection. We need to ask people about the situation itself, and ask them and make them reflect about other situations when they have seen people negotiating, maybe not necessarily women, but men, and if they felt the same way when they were in that situation. So make them become aware of why they're making such a comment when they hear a woman, when she is assertive and saying that she is pushy. Now, if you're the woman that is negotiating, it is important to prepare for that negotiation in order to avoid or reduce the risk of that bias. The bias might exist, but you're prepared to face it, right? So what to do when you're preparing for a negotiation? So understand that this is a win-win situation. It's not going to be something where you're winning and the other person isn't. It's important for you to understand what's in it for the other person, right? So you need to prepare. The other thing that I would say is that it's important for you to be able to make the first offer. So don't wait for someone to tell you, okay, this is my proposal for you. If you want something and if you're ready to negotiate, be able to say what you want. So express your desire, express what you want for yourself. So talking about negotiation and developing those negotiating skills are some of the things that we need to develop. The performance bias is based on the assumption that men are better than women. And again, those are just biases. It's not that it's reality, it's just beliefs that are culturally, have culturally being accepted. So sometimes when the situation can be like we hear or we are talking about a promotion and promoting someone, and then all of a sudden we hear that a specific candidate, it could be a Latina or it could be a woman, that people are saying that she doesn't have the right skills for a manager role. Okay, so what to do if you hear that? Because again, it's not only to be conscious about the fact that bias exists, but it's what can we do when we see bias happening, right? So ask for concrete examples. When we ask for the examples and we check against criteria, we make it real. So it's not someone talking just about the perception of someone not having the skills, but when they need to look at the criteria and compare to the real skills to that criteria, it makes them reflect on what the reality is and how prepared that person is or isn't. So that's, so ask people to reflect. And if you are the person who's asking for that promotion, okay, and in preparation for that, make sure that you get used to talk about your contributions. Don't wait until the moment where you're going to ask for the promotion to talk about your contributions. That's something that we need to feel comfortable with. So be able to talk about your accomplishments, everything that you're contributing to, your results. So in order to be able to speak about your results, make sure that you understand what is the criteria that is being measured by senior people on top of you, so that you are able to also compare your contributions against specific criteria. So what are they paying attention to and how are you contributing to that, right? So it's important, again, to become visible and be able to showcase your skills. So having a personal brand, and someone was talking about developing a personal brand here and how important it was. It is really important to make sure that you understand your value, your unique value proposition, and how you position yourself and your skills around you. Okay, so another way to, a good way to also manage the performance bias. Then we have the maternal bias. And for women, I think that's one of the most common biases that we're faced to or challenged with. So sometimes what we hear is that a specific woman is being considered for a high-profile project or a promotion, but then you hear also the comment about the fact that she just got a baby. So mainly because she just got a baby, then she shouldn't be considered because maybe she's not going to have the time to dedicate herself to that specific high-profile project. So if you listen to that comment or those types of comments, remind them that this could be a career changing for that person, and that they should allow her to make the decision herself about taking or not that specific project. She is the only one that is going to be able to decide if she has the time or the flexibility, or she feels that she's ready to take it. Okay, so don't allow people to make decisions on behalf of other people or of the women affected in this case. Just prompt them to ask the person if she is willing to take on that project. Now, if you are the person who's being considered for a specific project, you just had kids, or you have small kids, or you are in somehow affected by this maternal bias, it is very important for you to understand and have a clear vision of what you really want for your career. So remember to be intentional about your career, because then you're going to be able to decide if that specific project is or not important for you. Is that project going to help you move forward into where you want to be or not? So that when you make the decision to take it or not, you make it with the understanding that if you do, you're going to be moving towards the path or the intention that you already set for yourself. So it's very important to have a clear career vision. Okay. So if we think about the other bias, is the attribution bias, which is very linked to the performance bias itself that we mentioned, the very first one that we spoke about. So basically in this one, what happens is that we tend to give women less credit for their accomplishments than what we give men, okay? So if you're in it's situations that show attribution bias is that you're in a meeting, okay, and people are speaking, everybody is contributing, but then you hear how they tend to interrupt our woman colleague who's trying to speak or set her opinion. So if you hear that, the way for you to help that person or that woman or colleague is to say, okay, hold on one second, let's hear what she has to say, because I think that what she's saying is important. So let's give her an opportunity for her to express her opinion. So that's your way to challenge that attribution bias. Now, if you're the one who's being overly interrupted, here, emotional intelligence is very important. It's a very important skill to have, because you will be able, with the emotional intelligence, you'll be able to really understand what's the situation that's happening, control your self-emotion, and be able to continue and to speak up, even if people are interrupting you, and probably say, okay, let me finish with my idea, and then we can continue with a discussion or something like that, without letting the emotions control you. So you control the situation, not the emotion. You don't allow the emotion to control you. Because what happens is that sometimes we let also the mindset and the limiting beliefs make us feel like we're not good enough or we're not enough. And that's the reason why we're being interrupted, which doesn't have anything to do with what we are or the contribution that we can provide. It's just a result from the attribution bias that's happening in the room. Okay, so if we think about stereotypes are things that we are faced with from many, many years. I mean, since we are little. And basically a stereotype is a belief or a generalization that we use to make sense of our social world. So a stereotype can be when we are little, for example, we tend to say that boys are tough, they play rough, they swing high, so they're able to take risks and things like that, where women or girls are taught to avoid risk and failure. They're taught to always try to be smiley and pretty, to play it safe, to get all A's, I mean, be the best in her class, etc. So that's where the stereotypes start to build up or to be saved in our unconscious mind. So basically, as I said, stereotypes are beliefs. Just beliefs that we have built and that are saved in our unconscious mind, subconscious mind. So because of those stereotypes, what usually happens is that in leadership, the tendency is to have two different leadership styles, the take care and the take charge. So these leadership styles are aligned with the masculine or the feminine energy. It doesn't mean that it is more men or women that are in one way or the other. It's the energy that we convey. So basically, women or the feminine energy is supporting, rewarding, mentoring, networking, consulting, and the masculine energy is more take charges, resolving problems, influencing upwards, delegating, etc. So the tendency is that it is expected, again, for men to take charge and for women to take care. The reality is that these are not exclusive. And what we're going to find out and what we're going to see is that in order for us to really succeed as leaders, we need to have them both. We need to be able to reach out and to our masculine, feminine energy if we need to, and be able to take charge. And also make sure that we are connected and with our taking care energy as well. So having the emotional intelligence to understand when we need to apply each one and being able to be in balance is a skill that it's important for us to develop in leadership. So it's all related to mindset, and it's also related to emotional intelligence. Because why mindset? Because sometimes the fear of rejection that we have when we say, okay, I need to be assertive here, right? This situation requires me to be assertive. But then we have the limiting belief and we say, okay, but if I am assertive, then they're going to reject me. They're going to say that I am pushy or bossy or whatever. So being able to manage all of those inner voices and limiting beliefs and handle them so that we are confident on the fact that we know that we need to be assertive. We are, no matter what, okay, because it's part of our balancing act of being able to take charge and taking care and take care, then that's what's going to help us really move forward in our careers as leaders. Okay, so what happens is that because of these stereotypes, we are faced with the double bind dilemma. The double bind dilemma means that no matter what we do, we are in undesirable cause of action. So basically, we are damned if we do and damned if we don't. So we are confronted with situations that have different demands from us, and no matter what we choose, it's going to be like a lose-lose kind of thing, right? So that's the double bind dilemma. So we have three different dilemmas, and the first one is the extreme perception. So either we are found to be too soft or we are found to be too taught, but it seems that it's never right enough. Okay, so basically that's kind of the feeling that we tend to have. It's like I'm either bossy or I'm not powerful enough. So what's the deal here? How do I need to behave? So that's one of the dilemmas. The other one is the high competency threshold and lower reward. So basically, women, we are asked and we ask of ourselves to prove ourselves over and over. So it's not necessarily something that someone is asking us to do, but it's our own thing that we need to prove ourselves that we are worth it. So that's a high competency threshold. And because of that, we tend to accept like a lot of extra work just to prove that we can do it, when probably it's not even necessary for us to take that extra work and prove anybody that we can do it, because we can, right? And also the third one, or the third dilemma, is being highly competent but disliked. So how do we manage all of the dilemmas? Because we are faced with these dilemmas every day in the workplace. So the first one is to develop personal confidence. Personal confidence is developed starting with developing a right mindset, the being able to master that inner voice and change those limiting beliefs that we have in our subconscious mind to powerful beliefs. So that's the starting point. then we need to understand that it's not necessary that we are always nice and that we always need to, for everybody to think the right things about ourselves. So what is important is to do the right thing and take the risks that are necessary for us to take in a specific moment. So we also need to be able to develop the ability to delegate or manage up. So develop that emotional intelligence to know when we need to do what is important. Also use clear and effective communication. And again, be able to speak about your accomplishments. So speaking about our accomplishments and speaking about what we have, our contributions, is the first step for us to be considered for promotions, because people need to know what we're doing in order to consider us for a promotion or a job. So I remember the time many years ago when I started working in corporate. We used to dress with suits, like pants and the suit, and like kind of dressing like a man, right? We had a tendency to feel that we had to be like a man in order to be successful. When the reality is that we need to be authentic in our own style. We need to be able to develop our feminine energy as well as the masculine energy and have them in balance, as I was mentioning. So the message here is that you don't need to be like someone else. You just need to be authentic in what you are. And there are different studies that show that the expectation is that we are feminine, we show our feminine energy, and that with that, we're gonna accomplish even more than if we try to be someone else. So you can see here some of the examples of those studies. So developing emotional intelligence, like I was saying, is very important. And emotional intelligence is having the capacity to be aware and in control of our emotions and also what's happening around us, right? So that we can be empathetic and we know how to perceive the moment and understand the moment to know how we need to react and what kind of energy we need to use in that specific moment. So I'm going to take 2 minutes. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for you guys to look at these 6 questions. Take some time, and please, you can do a print screen or you can just take note on the numbers and qualify your and give your yourself a number. So 5 is you always behaving that in that way, and 1 is you never do. And because we're so, it's not that many people, so if you can, you can unmute yourself and let me know when you're ready. And share your score. So who wants to share first?
This is Kate. So I can go ahead and share. I think so. Basically, I give the number in which I had the highest score, and that's my go-to energy.
No, so you answer all of the 6 questions with a number. So for example,
okay.
Consider others' needs before my own. So from 1 to 5, what's your score? And then you add all of them, and you tell.
Right. Okay. Okay. On number 1, I would say I'm a 4.
Mm-hmm.
On number 2, I would say 3.
Mm-hmm.
On number 3, I would say 4. Number 4, 3. Number 5, 5. And number 6, 3.
Okay, so how much is that? What is your total?
Oh, I haven't added it up yet. Sorry. Maybe someone else can go. I'll add it up.
So who has a total?
I do. Mine's 25.
25, okay. Thank you. Monique, you have yours? Okay. Kendall?
I'm still adding mine. So.
$25.
25.
Yeah.
Okay. We have 25. Anybody else wants to share?
Hi, this is Portia. I got 23.
23. Thank you, Portia. Okay. Anybody missing?
Mine is 36.
36?
Yeah. Yeah. 36.
Well, but it can be, the top number can be 30. Because if you put 5 on each, 5 times 6%, right?
No, I put 5 on 3.
Okay, so what is the total then?
So that was 15. Oh, that's 26.
Okay, 26. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go to the next set of questions, do the same exercise, and share with me the final result, final number. Okay, who's ready to go?
Do you want the total number from the past 2 slides added up?
No, the total number for this one.
For this one, I had 22.
22, and the previous one you had 25, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to use this example to share how the exercise works, and then each one of you will be able to look into your numbers. So basically, the first one was the feminine go-to energy, okay? And the second one is the masculine go-to energy. So once you compare your totals, like you did, so you had 25 and 22. So you're pretty much balanced on both of them, right? Between the feminine and the masculine, being the feminine a little bit higher than the masculine. So the exercise is for us to be aware or where our tendency goes, like where is our energy, natural energy going, and then work on developing the other part so that we are as much balanced as we can. Okay? Okay. So for that, as I was mentioning, the important thing is to develop the right balance, being able to switch between the two, the feminine and the masculine energy, and being able to cultivate self-awareness and emotional intelligence in order to be to understand when we need to use each one by having the right perception of the environment. Now, I want to share with you a final tool, which is a career advancement assessment wheel. So I have, I'm showing here like 9 habits that are very important for us in advancing in our career. So you'll have these, and I can share with you, I can send it to Linda so that each one of you can use it and do your assessment. So from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest, you'll be able to rate how you're doing on career vision, personal brand, networking, negotiation, emotional intelligence, time management, mindset, etc. So goal setting and mindset. So the objective of this exercise is to get you to become aware on how you're doing on each one of these. And then later on, if you want to talk about it or share your results or discuss how to improve each one of the different areas, you can contact me on any of these either Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You'll find me as Arboleda Coaching on Instagram, and on LinkedIn is Patricia Arboleda. And I also invite you to look at my website, arboledacoaching.com, to get more information about what I do. So it was a pleasure to be able to share with you some time today. And if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me.
Yep. And Patricia is also part of our Coaches Corner. So if you go to the membership portal, you'll see Patricia's profile there too. And we'd be happy to have you be part of Patricia's workshops that she announces every once in a while too. So if you're interested in connecting with Patricia, just know that her profile is part of the Coaches Corner of LeadHERship Global in the member portal. Okay, guys, so that gives you, I think, a really good sort of sense of what the Rise Bootcamp experience is going to be like. You're going to receive extraordinary insight and guidance every single week from real experts, which is amazing. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge and welcome Portia Williams, who was just a tad late in joining us today. But Portia, we're so glad you're with us and we're so glad you're here. And you missed the opportunity to introduce yourself. So if you don't mind just giving your name, what you do for a living, and then what you're looking for in your Rise Bootcamp experience. Just one line of what's going to be really important for you.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you. My name is Portia Williams. I live in California. I work in executive recruiting for the life sciences, and I'm also working on helping our company develop a D&I consulting brand. So something I'm hoping to get out of this is just learning how to be an authentic leader, how to bring all of my values and goals together into my work every day.
Gosh, Portia, that you could not have given me a better segue for what we're going to talk about. So thank you.
I'm in the right place.
Yes, you are so in the right place. So I will just let you guys know that Portia is just an absolute amazing woman. And if you have an opportunity to connect with her, please do. But a couple things that I want to draw your attention to, and then we'll close maybe 5 minutes early today. One, after today, all of you will receive an invitation to take a leadership style diagnostic. So I'll send you each a link to take a leadership style diagnostic that I think you're going to find to be really insightful, really, really helpful. So be sure to look for that. 2, in the email that you received right before today's meeting, I included a document. It's really kind of a worksheet on being an authentic, impactful leader. I would invite all of you to read through that, that sort of take-home assignment, if you will, and answer those questions, even if it's just in a little note card that you script out the answers to. If you have your own personal little notepad or note sheet, really go through that and think carefully about the answers to those questions. And then what I'm going to invite all of you to do is to pair up in what's called a confidential connection and share what really struck you about the worksheet? What was it that you really learned, or something that really was an insight or a takeaway or some sort of unique learning that you gained from that worksheet, being an impactful leader? So all of you will receive what we call confidential connections, your assignment, your pairing, in that follow-up email. So you'll all be paired. We're going to ask that you spend some time over this week and next, finding time to connect with the person that you're paired with, and to simply go through the worksheet, talking about what you learned, what was impactful, what was insightful, with your partner, with the person that you're assigned to. And then also, as I said, look for that link where you'll be invited to take a leadership style diagnostic. So that's really your homework, is to look for the leadership style diagnostic as well as the one sheet, go through that, jot down your responses, and then share it with your partner. You'll note that we are going to meet every other week, so you have a little bit of a breather between each one of these sessions. And the next meeting we recommend to be Wednesday, April 14th at 11 a.m. What I'd love to do is make this a pretty routine time for all of us to meet, so that you can just mark your calendars now. And we're hoping to meet every other week for 1 hour on Wednesdays. So the next one would be Wednesday, April 14th at 11 a.m. Central. The third session would be Wednesday, April 28th at 11. Then Wednesday, May 12th at 11, and then Wednesday, May 26th at 11. So next week is a little bit of an anomaly, where we're going to suggest that that time be 10 a.m., or I'm sorry, no, that is 11 a.m. But I need all of you guys, if you don't mind, to check your calendars and just shoot me a quick note saying, yep, all those dates work for me, or I have a conflict. If any of you have a conflict, we'll reschedule those dates. Does that sound fair? Okay, so by Friday, please shoot me a note and let me know whether those dates work. And by tomorrow, look for an email from me with a link to the leadership style diagnostic. You already have the worksheet, so you can begin working on that whenever you have time. And then tomorrow, you'll also receive your confidential connection for next week. Sound good?
And also, Linda, if you allow me, so I'll also be sending you the wheel assessment.
That's
so
right.
that we can also go through that. And if you want to connect as well, we can do a 30-minute call or something to share your learnings and your insights from doing that exercise.
Yes, super smart and really generous of you, Patricia. So thank you for sharing that. I'll wait to receive that from you, and then we'll bundle it together and send it out to everyone. As I noted, we had a couple of people that were not able to join us today due to emergencies, but I really hope by our next session together, we have a full house. This is being recorded so that everyone feels like they have been here the entire time if they had to miss today's session. And I just really want to thank everyone for your time and your dedication to meet each other, to be here together. And please know you'll have lots of time to really connect and get to know each other and form those kind of deep connections and relationships that I think we're all looking for. So in the agenda that you received right before today's session, just know you have the full agenda of everything that will be happening through June for the RISE Bootcamp, and the proposed dates and times, so that you can go through that agenda, double check the dates and times, and make sure that they work for you. All right, guys, any other questions before we leave? I hope this was helpful for everyone. Would love your feedback, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And thanks, Patricia.
Thank you.